Hey everyone, let's talk about something that's shaking up the world right now, President Trump's sweeping tariffs. So, on April 5th, 2025, Trump announced tariffs on literally every country, even uninhabited islands. And let me tell you, the global response has been nothing short of chaos. Let's start with Vietnam. The US is their biggest market, and a whopping 30% of their GDP relies on exports to America. Workers like Nguyen Thi Dieu are terrified of losing their jobs, especially in the textile industry. Their prime minister has already formed a rapid response team, and the deputy prime minister is heading to the US for some urgent talks. Now, Europe. Leaders there are livid. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz called the tariffs fundamentally wrong. French President Emmanuel Macron labeled them brutal and unfounded, and Spain's Pedro Sanchez said they're contrary to the interests of millions. They're all considering counter-tariffs but want to avoid making things worse. The EU, which sends 70% of its exports to the US, is worried about a potential 50% drop. They're debating targeting American goods like bourbon but are wary of US retaliation on European wine and spirits. And then there's China. They wasted no time hitting back with 34% tariffs on US imports and adding American companies to their export control list. They've been preparing for this since 2018, shifting supply chains to Southeast Asia and ramping up trade with other countries like Brazil. China's playing the long game here, aiming to position itself as a stable global partner. Back in the US, the market reaction has been brutal. Stocks plunged, and there are now fears of a recession, with analysts predicting a 60% chance globally. Americans are anxious, wondering how this will affect their daily lives. For instance, two sisters in New York voiced concerns about their investments in the overall leadership. Trump, however, remains defiant. He believes these tariffs will revive U.S. manufacturing. Vice President J.D. Vance backs him up, pointing to factory closures and high living costs. But not everyone is convinced. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has warned this could lead to higher inflation and slower growth. Even some of Trump's former officials have their doubts, with Michael Wolff suggesting Trump might be worried about the market fallout, despite enjoying the attention. So, what's driving Trump? He's on a mission to restore American manufacturing. Reports say he decided on these tariffs just 3 hours before announcing them, calling it Liberation Day in a choreographed event. He wants to show he's bringing prosperity back to ordinary workers. But the impact is global, from workers in Vietnam to leaders in Europe and ordinary Americans. The world is watching closely to see how this unfolds. That's the latest on Trump's tariffs. What do you think? Drop your comments below and let's discuss. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.